In a state where football is king, more than 1,200 teams have a shared destination on their minds. Arlington, Texas. Here, champions will be crowned.
From AT&T Stadium in Arlington, it's Dave Campbell's Texas Football. I'm Greg Powers, joined by Matt Stepp, where we just witnessed Hamilton securing its first ever state championship in the 2A Division I title game, 21-7 over Joaquin. Matt, kind of give us the feeling you think's going on right now in the town of Hamilton.
What a day in Hamilton, Texas. Hamilton County, their first state championship in school history. They've been playing football since 1914. This was their first time ever playing in a state championship. They get to the state championship game, and they make it official. They are the team of record in 2A Division I. What a defensive performance, an absolute defensive masterclass from the Hamilton Bulldogs, holding a Joaquin. We say it all the time on Tep and Step, right? Slot T is the devil.
Tough offense to defend.
It is a hard offense to defend. In the first drive of the game, it looked like Joaquin was going to have one of those Joaquin games. They just put up 50, 60 points, 16-play drive, and they score a touchdown. From that point on, that Hamilton defense led by Brett Bauman, the freshman Easton Marwitz, a monster game. They came up with a couple of key turnovers in the second half, and they just controlled things. Once they got up 14-7, it kind of just felt like Hamilton was in total command of this football game.
Look, I can't go on to the next question until I give a shout-out to my guy Luke York, the defensive lineman for Hamilton, was setting the tempo up front, had a monster game himself. Bauman walks away with defensive MVP honors. And a guy who played on both sides of the ball, Halston Hale, took home offensive MVP, and he was the leader on that offense with 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, he's a tremendous running back. And what a great story. Our own Carter Yates wrote a great story about Halston in the week, the lead up to this football game. This is a guy who didn't play in the semifinal game last year because of a lacerated kidney. He couldn't even walk. He was that banged up. He comes out here his senior year, makes the most of it, has a monster game for Hamilton, really kind of carried their offense. The passing game was there in fits and starts. I really liked one of those touchdown drives, a wide receiver, Pierce Summers, the third
Big
touchdown
22.
drive. The third touchdown drive where Hamilton kind of got that 2-score lead. A couple of nice receptions from the 6'6 receiver, including a key third down reception. And I think that's one thing you and I talked about in the press box during this football game. I thought Hamilton's ability to convert on 3rd and 4th down was really key. They made some big plays on some 3rd and longs to keep drives going.
I want to ask you about Ryan Marwitz. I mean, they played a tough playoff schedule, beat West Texas last week in a tough, hard-nosed, gritty win, and this was like doubling down back-to-back. Another tough team that they had to face. Perseverance, I think, has to be a story for this Hamilton team. Not a lot of people picking them even to win the region.
Yeah, last year they had their best year in school history, going 14-1, and they got beat by a great Stanford team in the semifinals. Had to replace their quarterback, had to replace some key pieces, and they start out the year and they're 2-2. They take a close loss to Crawford, a close loss to San Saba, and people are kind of thinking, well, Hamilton, they'll be good, but it's kind of going to be a rebuilding year. And they just got hot and got better and better and better each game of the season. They come out of that wide open Region 2 and kind of control things. And then that semifinal win last week, a lot of mirroring in their win last week over Stinnett, West Texas, and tonight. West Texas High in the first quarter and a half really kind of controlled things. Hamilton's defense makes those adjustments. They kind of settle in. They're such good tacklers, and they're good at all 3 levels. This is just I don't think this Hamilton team is loaded with star power. I think they're just a solid team across the board. Unusual depth for a 2A Division I school.
They converted in key situations, 3rd and 4th downs. When their back was against the wall, it looked like they couldn't get a first down, and I think really that was the difference in this game. Under crunch time, when they needed a big play, they were able to dial it up, pick up a first down to extend drives, and that ultimately led to points. But for Joaquin fans, there's a lot of talent coming back on this team next year. They have a chance to be good again. Playoff Joaquin is real.
Yeah, we're talking about a squad that last year finished 4th in district, made it to the state semifinals. This year they finished 3rd in district, get all the way to the title game. Jared Jones has done an unbelievable job there as the head coach. Obviously, we know how tough their district is. Now, they'll get a new district next year with realignment, but they come out of a tough part of the state. They get battled week in and week out, and they're always playoff tested, and they seem to be a team that gets better as the year goes along. You're right, Trenton Runnels is coming back. Cooper Bragg is back. Marion Wilson is back. So this is a team that's got some pieces back, got some guys to replace in the trenches, but when you're running the slot T offense, you can get away with maybe inexperience in the trenches if they take good angles and hold their blocks just long enough for that misdirection offense to get rolling.
It's day 1 of 4 right now. We still have 3 days left to go. We're going to break down tomorrow morning's game between Munster and Shiner after a word from our friends at the Arlington Sports Commission and our editor-in-chief, Greg Tepper.
Greg Tepper of Dave Campbell's Texas Football and TexasFootball.com here at AT&T Stadium in Arlington at the 2025 UIL Texas High School Football State Championship Games with one of the guys who helps to make this thing happen from the Arlington Sports Commission, our friend Matt Wilson. I do want to ask you about this event returning to Arlington. And one of the things I've told folks is Arlington treats this like their Super Bowl, and I think that's one of the things that really sets this place apart.
Well, this is a special event. When you talk about crowning champions, I mean, there's nothing that can compare with Texas high school football. There's no other state in the entire country that does what we do here. And so we try to celebrate that the entire week, the entire month, really.
And you would know, because you're a Texas high school football alum.
Big time.
Proud Levelland Lobo.
That's right.
By the way, next year, just be on the lookout in the ranking for the Levelland Lobos. There's a little tease for next year.
Man.
But, with 4 days of extravaganza here at the UIL Texas High School Football State Championship Games, it will make way for an extremely exciting 2026, kicking off with a Cotton Bowl and then on to the World Cup. Big things going on in Arlington.
Well, we even have some things in between there. So if you look at, you have the Cotton Bowl, which we're going to have a great matchup. Mm-hmm. Then we're going to have the Arlington Grand Prix, a first-time ever event, right. March 13th through 15th. We'll be driving 185, almost 200 miles an hour down Randall Mill. So just about like most Arlington citizens drive. And then we're going to get ready for the World Cup. The biggest sporting event in the world will be here. We'll have 9 matches from June 14th to July 14th.
And correct me if I'm wrong, that's more matches than any other venue, right?
Most in the world. And, to have the entire epicenter of sports in the world to be focused on Arlington, Texas is a special feeling.
There's a ton going on here. And, of course, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about another event that happened here, another big-time football game. And apologies to our friends at the Dallas Cowboys, but Texas Tech Red Raiders won a conference championship on this field, and you're a proud Red Raider. You make no bones about it. I have to imagine that was pretty special for you.
Wow. I mean, to be 47 years old and to have never won a championship and then to do it here, here in AT&T Stadium was almost spiritual. It was magical. It was wonderful. I told the Big 12 that I would not wear a Texas Tech logo. Now, did I wear a red shirt and a black vest and a black hat? Yes. So I was completely impartial. But we broke a record, 85,000 people plus. I think it was 85,519 here in this building to watch the Big 12 championship, the largest crowd ever for that championship game.
It was a special day, I know, for you and a lot of other Red Raider fans out there. It all happens here in Arlington, including the 2025 UIL Texas High School Football State Championships. Thanks to our friends at Matt Wilson. Appreciate you, my friend.
You bet.
There was our friend Matt Wilson and also Greg Tepper, who's going to be on the call for tomorrow's game between Munster and Shiner on Victory Plus, a game that I'm plenty excited about, Step. 36-29 last year. Mm-hmm. Shiner on the revenge tour, 15-0 up to this point. What do they got to do? You can't call it an upset. They did lose last year, but it wouldn't be an upset if they win this game. I think a lot of people feel like they're favored.
Yeah, I think Shiner comes into this game as the favorite, considering their defensive performance the last couple of weeks in the playoffs, shutting down Junction in the regional final 22-6, and then taking down Kagan Ash and Mount Enterprise. Kagan Ash did set the state rushing record, a single-season career rushing record, in that game, but Shiner held him out of the end zone. He had 500 yards rushing in the week before, 200 yards held out of the end zone. Quincy Jones, Jarvis Williams, that Shiner offense gets cooking. They run the veer. They're hard to stop in that defense. The Pop kid at linebacker, unbelievable. A sophomore, absolutely a terror for the Shiner defense. But listen, Munster's got championship experience. Kason Carney returns. State MVP last year. He had a monster game against Shiner. He's got to carry Munster. Munster's a little banged up. They've got some guys that are a little beat up. Kason Carney's healthy. If Munster's going to win, Kason Carney's going to have a big game for the Hornets tomorrow.
Kason Carney's that difference maker for me. And when you look at the stats for this game, you're seeing that both teams average over 40 points per game, but both of their defenses are pretty good. But the thing that kind of jumps out to me is that Shiner defense only allowing right over 10 points a game. If I would give an advantage or some sort of an advantage right now to Munster, it's the mileage to AT&T Stadium. A much longer drive for Shiner, early morning game, Munster has a little bit of swagger coming off of that win last year.
Yeah, they're the defending state champs, and it's the Ric Flair theory, right? To be the man, you got to beat the man. Munster is the man. They're going to be ready to go. They're going to throw the kitchen sink at Shiner, and they should be feeling good. They didn't play their best game up in Canyon last week in the state semifinals against Groover, but yet they found just that little bit of extra edge to get the win in a game they didn't play well. I don't anticipate the Munster Hornets playing poorly 2 weeks in a row, but the Shiner team, they only had 5 seniors on last year's team, so they are experienced and they are hungry and they're looking for a little revenge in their final game as a 2A Division II team because they'll be moving up to 2A Division I in the next UIL realignment.
And lucky for them, some of those top players that you talked about, Quincy Jones and Jarvis Williams, are underclassmen, so they're going to be back even into 2026. A lot to be excited about here in AT&T Stadium. That's Matt Stepp. I'm Greg Powers. Keep it locked on Dave Campbell's Texas Football all weekend long.